What's up, Mike?
So Deanne was talking about having refs out here. Is that something maybe you got with refs being involved in that?
No, anytime you can, especially when we go live, we like to have refs here helping us out.
How do you feel like that's helping this year with trying to increase the level of physicality?
In this case,
But the officials are human, and part of us having to get ready for the season is to deal with calls that they make. We may or may not agree with. And then it frees up all of our coaches to do whatever we need to do to make sure we're operating at a high level during live competition. So it's welcome, it's different, it makes it more intense because it's not just a coach calling the game as officials. We've done it for, I've done it forever.
What are you wanting to increase in physicality in the low life?
There's a lot of things. Defensively, in a pick and roll situation, there's no screens. I got to get up into the ball. Like, I don't want to just turn here and try to force it through the screen. I want to get up into the ball and still up to get over the screen at the same time. If a guy is going to set a screen, I want to bump, make him change his route. I don't want him to go from point A to point B in a direct line the way he wants to go. Those are a couple of examples on the defensive end. Offensively, I want to run. If somebody tries to do that to me, I want to run through it. I want to go set a hard, solid screen to get a teammate over. Those are a couple of examples. The biggest thing for us, though, on the defensive end of the floor is we're not a big team, especially when it comes to our starting five, which means we all have to do a great job of protecting the rim together. And that means if somebody gets beat on a drive, I'm on the weak side, I got to get my behind the cross, and I got to take a hit. I got to take a charge. I don't care how big or small. I got to get the head off it. Or I got to go late. I got to go vertical and take that hit in the chest.
How's Jason's offense, by the way?
What's that?
How's Jason's offense? I saw you batting him up.
You're lucky my feet weren't drawing the foul on you.
Still slow.
A little slow.
But we can work on it.
Okay,
we're
good.
going to have one of them sessions out there. And so, are you ready? Oh, let's go.
Fox and HB have already talked about the hard coaching that you and your staff are doing. How are these guys responding as actually in those states?
It's been great. I said this last year. I'll continue to say it. You have your guys, your top guys, especially start with Fox and Sabonis, and they allow you, when I say you, I'm talking about being wrestling coaches, to coach them. It makes our job easier to coach everybody else. And so we're not going to treat them any different just because they're quote-unquote superstars. That's they superstars. They get paid for being superstars. So we have to make sure that we coach them hard. It allows us to coach everybody else. But like I said, it wouldn't be able to happen without them giving a lesson to them.
Is there a difference between having a player's respect and having a player's trust from the coach?
I think it's basically the same thing. I think respect and trust kind of go hand in hand, because usually you don't respect somebody if you don't trust them to a certain degree. You may not fully trust them, but you trust them to a certain degree, and so I think they go hand in hand.
This
Mike,
first week before the preseason schedule kind of gets underway on Sunday, what is it that you're most honing in on?
The level of physicality. I'm going to keep harping on it because, like I said, we have to start right now. It can't be something that we try to figure out come playoff time, because then it'd be too late.
Mike, what's your philosophy on having training camp here in Sacramento compared to other teams that might have it, in San Diego and Colorado? Just what's your thought process on that?
I got to give our ownership due credit starting from back. He put his money where his mouth is, or did I say that right?
You're at the first time.
Okay, it's all the same.
All the
That's what
same.
I'm talking about. And this is a beautiful facility, and we have everything we need right here, while having the luxury of going home to our families. And again, we talked about the word family yesterday. And part of it is, trying to spend time with them, and we don't get a ton of opportunity to do that. So if we're able to go home and sleep in our own bed and see our wives or our kids or whatever on a night in, night out basis, hopefully it makes it a little easier for everybody else when it is time to go hit the road because we were around these 2 weeks or this week and a half or whatever it is during training camp.
Mike, 2 questions. One, you talked about physicality. How much is that showing up from JaVale already in practice?
Well, hey, he's been in multiple finals, so he understands what it takes to play at that level. One thing JaVale probably is going to have to get used to, and he can do it. He can play fast, not most possessions, but every possession. We're going to continue to push him to do that on both sides of the ball. But his length, his size, like he's not just long and skinny. He's a grown, fast man. I'm not going to say that, you know. Big, so he's big across the check, got broad shoulders, and he's long, he's athletic, and he knows how to play. And so adding that to our team is going to give us a different look compared to what we had last year.
Okay, and also, did you have full participation from everybody today?
Yeah.
When you look at that backup 5 spot, obviously you got he, Landon, Lyles that shows the same as a stretch 5 in the playoffs. How do you view utilizing that? Is it going to be just a matchup or more towards defense? Like how do you look at that backup 5 spot?
No, we're today, and we'll rock with that. And obviously, you guys know, I'm not afraid to make a change if I need to. So if I feel like we need to make a change, we will. But it's whatever we have at that time, or whatever success we have versus that team at the time.
Mike, you talked about having practice here, training camp here, but how does that translate to the regular season? Because I know this last season, you guys were great on the road, 25 wins on the road, but one of your best ways to improve is you're better at home with only 23 wins. How do you get that, push that message?
Well, you know, I felt, and there could be a lot of different reasons, that our crowd is so good, you know, that sometimes we rely on them to bring the energy for us while we're here, and we can't go into any home game thinking that, okay, hey, we can turn it up at the end because we're at home. We're used to these rims, or the crowd's going to give us that extra energy. We have to have an appropriate fear, that same appropriate fear for whoever our opponent is at home. Like on the road. You know, on the road, you know you're going into somebody else's building. You know, it's a funky environment. You know, you're probably locked in a little bit more because you're not staying up till 10 o'clock with the kids and then watching a movie till midnight with your wife or something like that, or going to have dinner with your boys and stay. So it's probably a little bit different on the road because our team is great in terms of focusing on the time and but having that appropriate fear no matter who we play at home is going to be big for us, and just let all the other things come as they come.
Speaking of the crowd home opener against the Warriors, how much are you already or just addressing and working on specific things that you faced from the Warriors in the playoffs, which is more just broad?
You know, the Warriors, you know, they were NBA champions last year, so they taught us a lot. And so some of the adjustments that we're making this year on both sides of the ball are because of that series. And, you know, when you experience playing with the world champions in the playoffs in a 7-game series, you learn a lot about yourself. And I felt we did last year, and hopefully we can have some carry over to it this year.
It looked like you had 1s and 2s out there today. Did you guys scrimmage? And if so, what that look like?
Yeah, no, we knocked heads yesterday, we did it today, and we'll continue to do it throughout the course of camp. And I thought we were a little bit better today than we were yesterday, and that's what makes it fun. You know, one of the things that we did, we scrimmaged in a way where the defense was already waiting for us and already know what was coming, and we limited certain things that we could do offensively, and that makes it that much harder to try to execute. For day 2, our guys did a fantastic job doing it.
I just want to ask you quick about Harrison. He's entering his 6th year here, which is kind of like an eternity in the NBA now. How important was it for you to get him back, considering what he has meant, what he still does?
No, it's huge. You know, we have a young team in terms of guys being in the position that they're in right now. You know, we have a lot of guys that are right in their prime or about to enter their prime. And so for a guy like HB, who's already been there and done that for a few years, it's great for younger guys that are new to their roles, to be able to sit back and observe him, not only on the floor, offensively and defensively, but even off the floor, how he carries himself, how he interacts with you guys, how he interacts with people on the road and all that. So his presence alone It's been a calming effect for all of us. And we really appreciate that on top of his basketball play.
Thanks, Mike. Appreciate it.
Thank y'all very much.
It's been a while since I've been stuck.
No.